Shai Bahashim, Rachachurash, the honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Achim, Akwathim, learning, teaching in truth and sincerity. This is going to be another video through the Spirit, and I just tried to do this, but they took it down for copyright, so I'm going to play different parts of it and not play as much. Hopefully they don't do it again, but basically revealing the fact that not only New York, but the majority of the American cities, as it's going to tell us, were built by the Freemasons. All right, and here in this little documentary, it's dealing with New York and the underground subway system and how intricate it is. But they admit that the founding fathers themselves were Freemasons, and the majority of the people who had power to establish America were Freemasons. All right, so what? You know, you people like to call us conspiracy theorists, but here it is. This man himself will admit that, yes, he does have secret groups that work in the shadows that pull the strings, all right, which is the whole point of this video. All right, we'll get a couple scriptures. You know we're going to have to swing to that Micah, all right, chapter 2, and we'll close it out. All right, so you have other camps, you know, here at GMS, at Great Millstone, they want to make fun of us and say that we're conspiracy theorists, people in just the world. You know, your nappy-headed ass cousin, your bald-headed granny, they don't want to believe anything that you tell them. Well, maybe they'll listen when Esau Edom, the so-called white man, tells them and admits it himself. All right, so let's go. Fuck me.
20 years before London's Underground went public. The tunnel runs 30 feet beneath Brooklyn's Atlantic Avenue, but it's much more than a relic of old New York. The tunnel is filled with legends. Here, bootleggers stashed their moonshine, an assassin hid his long-lost diary, and the country's most famous secret society, the Freemasons, laid the foundations of the world's oldest subway station. Since building a train tunnel in 1844 underground was a huge project that took money and political clout, the Freemasons were the only ones who could pull it off.
So that's the first part, you know. So right there in this documentary, this was on the History Channel, admitting that the Freemasons established much of what you see in New York, and we're going to fast forward, and not only in New York, but throughout many parts of America, all right, because they were the ones that had the power and the wealth when this country was first put together. And all the Freemasons are is basically just a more well-known version of one of the hidden groups that the elite banking families love to work behind, all right. You know, we call them the elite because they're the top of the top when it comes to Esau Edom. You know the Rothschilds is in there. You know the Rockefellers is in there. All right, the DuPonts. All right, all of those families. These are the stupid little group names they love to work behind in the shadows. All right, and this guy, you know, the dude with the suit on, he's basically breaking it all down to this, we'll call him journalist.
Before they'd ever done this.
Well, you need to have the right people involved. First, we had Cornelius Vanderbilt, who was in charge of the construction.
Right.
Then you had a crew of 900 Irish laborers, which were more effective than steam shovels. And, of course, you couldn't do anything in New York State without the Freemasons back then. They ran everything.
The secretive Freemasons have long been linked to the founding of our country. George Washington and Ben Franklin were both Masons. From military forts to federal buildings, even the design of our nation's capital, Freemasons controlled the planning and building of our nation's infrastructure.
So right there, Freemasons did the, what did he say, the controlling and the planning of the infrastructure of America, all right, which is no wonder why this place has such a demonic vibe over it, all right. You have the obelisk. What do those go back to? Egypt, all right, dealing with, you know, literally shaped like the rod, all right. When you go look at the Pentagon, I believe in D.C., you know, it's literally certain parts of, oh, I have to pull up that picture, man. But it looks like an owl. When you go look up at a certain part of DC, it's designed after the shape of an effing owl. These people knew exactly what they're doing. All right, Freemasons deal with the geometry and the building and whatnot. You know, trying to be on a, you know, one of their idols is Hiram Abiff. You know, the man who helped build the temple with Solomon. All right, so let's get this verse out of Micah chapter 2. All right, this man has had the power to do these things. Micah 2:1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hands." Like he said, it was in the power of the Freemasons. All right, and you can see it in the influence today. All right, and we're going to get to another part of that video. Modern day America was completely built and modeled right after Rome. All right, showing you that this is this beast that was healed. All right, this is the first beast that was healed in today's time. All right, showing you we're dealing with the same group of people that was ruling back then. That's why they treat us the same and they rule with that same iron fist. All right. Once again, in the middle it says, when the morning is light, they practice it. All right. So hey, while your ass is asleep snoring, all right, in your boxers, these devils is setting up this over here. All right, sending money there to get that built, sending gold here, hiding it there, because they're the ones at the helm of the world right now. All right, and they love to work in the shadows when nobody else is paying attention. Let me see.
In fact, New York's governor in the early 1800s, DeWitt Clinton, was a Grand Master of the Freemasons, and he was influential in starting projects like the Erie Canal and New York's Board of Education. Top New York City officials and engineers were also Masons, and they played an important role in getting this groundbreaking project to become reality.
So right there, they just admitted it.
Literally bored out by...
So basically they admitted that the top people of the government were all Freemasons, and they were all using their money and putting their heads together to get many things built and done in America. All right, now, so there's one more part I want to play. I just got to find it real quick. Let me zoom through. Now they're going to show how America was built just like Rome. Salaki, y'all. I'll know the picture as soon as I see it. I just got to get right to it. Sure, let me see. I'm probably about to pause it in a second. Yeah, let me do this real quick.
What they basically did is they took elements of the 19th century industrial revolution and combined it with Roman civil engineering techniques, because the Romans built things similar to this for highway underpasses 2,000 years ago.
All right. 2,000-year-old Roman engineering met the Industrial Revolution in a method called cut and cover. Instead of mining a tunnel under New York, workers were hired to rip out the street with picks and shovels. Once they had dug a ditch 34 by 32 feet and a half-mile long, they brought in strong Manhattan bedrock for the walls, 6.5 feet thick at the bottom, tapering to 4.5 feet thick at the top. Finally, a brick arched ceiling was put in place, and the street was relaid over it. Today, the construction is so strong, the bricks...
So right there, they show you that they built, these cities the same way that Rome was built, you know, in the very same fashion. And why would they do that? All right, because of Revelation chapter 13. They're working in the same power as that beast that came before it. Romans 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This is America rising up, all right, the beast, this new kingdom. And it says he had what? He had 2 horns like a lamb, all right, the Republican and Democratic Party, all right, the same way that Rome had the plebeians and patricians. It says what? Like a lamb, pretending to be soft on the outside, pretending to be, you know, upright and all about the law. But what? And he spake as a dragon, all right, literally the draconian laws. So this man pretends to be nice and smooth, but he's a damn demon. He'll drop a tank on your fucking house if you don't listen, the same way that the Romans would come and invade your shit if you didn't allow them to tax you. Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that's what we're seeing in. We're living in the kingdom whose deadly wound was healed. Rome was healed by way of America coming back. And it says he exercises that power. What's some of that power? Literally being constructed in the same format. By who? Them damn Masons. All right. It says, and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Hey, in the architecture that you see here in America, when you go somewhere, what will you see people do? All right, because that worshiping the first beast, you know, deals with a lot of things. You know, mainly coming here soon, the mark of the beast RFID chip. But some of the ways people spiritually worship this place, you go somewhere, you see a damn statue. What do you see? Motherfuckers taking pictures, posing on it. You know, all up on it. Motherfuckers go to that bull in Chicago, take pictures on it. That little silver ball, take pictures on it. The Eiffel Tower, you know. People are completely enveloped in this place. Why? Because this is Rome all over again. People love this place, America, just like they did Rome. All right, so not only did they snitch on themselves and admit the fact that secret organizations do exist, such as the Freemasons, but also the fact that this place is modeled right after Rome, you know. So that's about it. Hopefully they don't cut this video, y'all. You know, we'll see. But I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem, Rakakurash, to honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim. Walk with them, learning, teaching, truth, and sincerity. I'm going to say Shalom.